and welcome to another episode of From the Honeycomb, a podcast that creates a spark of positive energy in your home to design, architecture, yoga, meditation, and travel. I've created this podcast as a place to come for design inspiration, and especially to learn about Vastu Shastra with a modern approach. Welcome, I am your host, Katerina. I want to wish everybody a happy 2022. Yay! It's a brand new year, a fresh start. I hope you all enjoyed your holidays and took some time to unplug and unwind from what was yet another busy pandemic-filled year. At least for me. It seemed like there was just so much going on and we were on this constant hamster wheel. So it feels good to just have a new year, new fresh start, and kind of a clean slate. I've got my cup of peppermint tea here next to me, so the vibe of this episode is a little different than end of 2021, where we were drinking wine with Jesse, recapping the year. This episode, I kind of want to slow down and just relax a little bit and have that tea. So I also, for this podcast, encourage you to get out your journal or a notepad to take notes on whatever resonates with you. And at the end, I also have a little assignment for you. All right, if you might be new to this podcast, what we do at the beginning is we share something we are grateful for. So wherever you are right now in this moment, think of something that you are grateful for that has brought you happiness or just a good feeling, good energy. For me, what I'd like to share is I have started to dance again. And what I mean by that is I have found some YouTube videos and just dance workouts, and I'm having so much fun with them. I found this woman, Tara. She's actually from Paris. All her videos are in French, which I don't speak a word of French, but that makes them so much more fun. I accidentally stumbled upon her one day. I was looking for some dance workout videos and I was like, oh, this looks fun. And as I started watching it, I realized, oh, this is all in French. And I don't speak French. So that was definitely very interesting, but her videos are so fun, so full of energy. And her videos I just have so much fun with them. And someone else who kind of has pushed me a little bit to start dancing more is I follow Candice Moore by Yoga by Candice. She's a yoga teacher, fitness, everything. I've been to some of her workshops in person years ago. And she kind of took up dancing recently. And it made me think, gosh, I kind of want to dance too. And don't really have any studios near me that seemed interesting. And so finding Tara's videos on YouTube and then just kind of seeing, Candice dancing made me go yeah, I think I like to dance too. I do have a background kind of in dance. I did ballet, hip hop, jazz, tap, all that growing up. So it's definitely something fun, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, being creative. I bought myself some new cool 90s inspired dance pants, hip hop pants, and I'm just having so much fun with it. I'm super grateful to be able to move my body again, just dancing and having fun. My word for 2021 was hustle. And boy, do I feel like I hustled. From studying 9 out of 12 months last year, I put in hundreds, but really what feels like thousands of hours of studying in. At work, I pushed hard on a challenging project and completed my first construction project from city processing to final completion. So for those of you who don't know, I work at an architecture firm as a project manager. I'm currently pursuing my architecture license. Personally, I took on a big project with my husband, which was planning our destination wedding mid-pandemic. And it was hands down the most beautiful day of my life, but definitely took hard work and planning. And so all of these projects going on last year, yes, I feel like I definitely hustled. But now thinking about it in hindsight, the hustle didn't help because I put so much pressure on myself to get so much done that I feel like I didn't get as much done as I could have because I had this pressure on myself and this pressure to get all the tasks on my to-do list done and especially get my architecture license. Unfortunately, I didn't pass my last exam in December and I'll have to retake it again this spring. And so a lot of that pressure just to get everything done took a toll on my mental health. I feel like I definitely struggled with some of my failures. I did fail more exams last year than I have in a while. And so a lot of that hustle and that push to get everything done definitely seemed to backfire a little bit because I'd started developing headaches and I've had to look for more coping mechanisms for stress. And so I really want to take 2020 to be different than 2021 because there was a lot going on and I'm ready to slow down. And so that's why my word for this year, for 2022, is to surrender and to let go and just trust the process, because I feel like so much of the time I'm trying to control whatever it is that I'm working on or doing and thinking of the next step and when is the next step going to be done. And I have to do XYZ to get there, but while I'm doing XYZ, I'm never present in the moment. I'm always thinking about what's next and what do I need to do to get to the next step. And I don't want to do that this year. This year, I really want to focus on taking things slow and surrendering. And the funny thing is actually as I was recording, this isn't the first try I have had at recording this episode. I have really had to surrender to the environment around me because the first time I started this episode, the garbage men decided to show up. So I had to restart that. Then halfway through, my neighbor started his massive truck, which is so loud. So I had to restart recording. I've also had a few airplanes go above our house again. And so there are just all these exterior elements. So I feel like already with my first episode from the honeycomb, I'm being asked to surrender and just to let go because I can't control all of these things and just kind of roll with the punches and just let go. And so, as I said, last year's hustle took away from me being present because I was always planning the next thing. And so for me, I want to stay grounded, focus on the now, because it's also hard to plan for the future anyway, right? As Jesse and I sat down to create our 2020 goals and plan for the next year, we realized it was kind of hard to do, which was a good thing. Because, for example, we're planning our honeymoon to Nicaragua this spring. And at first we're like, oh, well, now it was Christmas time. And we're like, oh, everything's shutting down again. The borders are opening, closing left and right. Is this something we're ready to take on again? Do we want to start planning all of this? And we ended up planning it. We do have some dates picked out and we bought our flights. But we definitely approached this trip with more caution and just making sure, okay, we don't need to be rushing to get there and rushing while we're there. We're really trying to also take this trip as a way of just relaxing because it's supposed to be our honeymoon, right? So we're supposed to relax, not run around sightseeing, which our wedding trip, as beautiful as it was, we definitely the week before the wedding were running around to appointments, making sure everything was good, taken care of. All our family and friends who were flying in were taken care of. So there was a lot of stuff going on. We did focus on ourselves after the wedding. We had a few days after, but we want a trip now where it's just us and really just letting go and enjoying surfing and some yoga in Nicaragua. So we're super excited about that. But again, with planning 2022, there's so many things we want to do. And although it just still seems hard given the pandemic life and you don't know what's going to be open, closed, where's everybody going to be, I still have my exams coming up. And each pass or fail kind of determines a different route on how else we're going to plan. And so it's kind of a blessing in disguise, I think, that we're able to take 2022 and, yes, have a list of few things we want to do, some trips we want to take, but really just surrender to whatever plans. It's going to be hard for me, I'll admit. It will be hard. I know for me, it will definitely be hard because I am somebody who just likes to plan the next step, and I really do want to be present and kind of trusting the universe and just moving forward with an inner knowing that everything will work out, that everything is going to work out. Best case scenario, whatever it is, it's going to work out. And so that's something I hope I can really focus on and know when I do have those moments of, oh my gosh, I have to get this task done, or I need to finish this big project, to take a breath and just go, no, you're going to get it done. Don't worry so much, which I think this, 2021, I definitely worried a lot, put a lot of pressure on myself. And that's something in this new year I would like to do kind of the opposite. And so that's why the word surrender for me is so important this year. And I realized as I was recording this is the first year I think I did choose a word where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to have a word for the year. And I think I also put pressure on myself for that with having, okay, now that this is the word for the year. But now looking back, having had hustle be the word for 2021, because I knew I had so many things I wanted to get done, is I learned a lesson at the end of the year by learning, yes, I did put so much pressure on myself and I wanted to get everything done, but it did affect my health, it affected my stress, it's my sleeping, and so that's something, I feel like I learned a very valuable lesson last year, and so that's the lesson I'm taking with me into 2022, for sure. All right, and so now for the little assignment I have for you is I encourage you to choose a word for this year if you have not already done so, or it could possibly be any multiple words that resonate with you. And as you write those down, maybe it could be the first word that comes to mind, or you can have some time to meditate on it, or, sit and drink a cup of tea and really think about whatever it is that word would be for you this year. And see if you can write down what are some ways that word will show up for you, or those words will show up for you, and why did you choose those words, right? So as I said, I've chosen surrender because the lesson I've learned over 2021 was you can't keep going on this, like as I mentioned, hamster wheel, because you will burn out. And that's actually what I felt in December. I felt completely burnt out because I had pushed myself in so many ways and put pressure on myself so much. It exhausted me. And so that's the lesson I learned. And that's why into 2022, I want to take surrender and really letting go. As I finished recording this episode, I wanted to look at what is the definition of surrender. So whatever word you chose, also try looking it up in the dictionary or on Google. And I found, what is the best definition of surrender? It's to give oneself up into the power of another, to yield, to surrender. The action of yielding one's person or giving up the possession of something else into the power of another. So then for 2022, I definitely surrender my power to the universe and to just whatever may come, whatever may be. And I know at times this will be very hard, but it's definitely something I need for this year. And so I'm very excited, and maybe we can do a check-in. Maybe in a few months, I'll do an episode where we check in on our word. I think that'll be good just to see where everybody is. So again, write down whatever word or words resonate with you for 2022. And yeah, I think it's a good idea. We'll check back in a few months. All right, well, thank you for listening to my first episode of 2022. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up or heart, or if possible, I would love if you could rate or review my podcast. And please click the follow button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes. Thank you so much, and see you next Friday.